Okay, the title of our paper is Integer Mix number 3. Integer mix number 3. It's our third time doing this. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, let's put down the order of operations. What do we do first? Well, the first thing we do is any parentheses. You take care of any parentheses. I'll just put a little parentheses there. And then after that, there would be exponents, if there are exponents. And then it's either multiply or divide, whichever comes first, going left to right. Whatever comes first. Maybe dividing comes first. And then the last two are adding or subtracting, whichever comes first, going left to right. All right, so first, second, third, fourth. Now we're not going to deal with parentheses here, so most of the time it's going to be this. And notice this is the first thing you would do first, and then this would be the last that you do. Okay, so that's the order that we do things. Okay, now on to the positive and negative numbers. Here's our first problem. Negative 45 plus 44. See if you can answer that. What you should find is that they're different, right? So you need to subtract them. There's more negative. The answer is going to be negative. And there's one more negative than positives. So if they're different signs, you just subtract them. And there's more negative. Here's our second problem. Now, I could rewrite this. This is negative 3 minus 11. But you know what? This is also negative 3 and negative 11. Because if I take away 11, that's the same thing as adding 11 negatives. It's the same thing. That's a hard concept for many students to recognize. But when you see this right there, that's the same thing as being a negative. Minus 11 and negative 11 will give you the same result. And so our answer is, if we have 3 negatives and 11 negatives, it's 14 negatives. They're not different signs. They are actually the same sign. It's just you can't recognize it in this form. Okay, number 3. We have a 3 minus 2. Now minus 2 is just like negative 2. Same result. And then minus 4. All right, I'm going to rewrite this. But so we have 3. And this is the same thing as adding a negative 2. Minus 2 and negative 2 are the same result. And minus 4 is the same thing as adding negative 4. Same result. So now it's a little easier to detect, to see our answers. Let's see, we have 3. I'll just do 2 at a time. 2 numbers at a time. Let's see, I have 3 and negative 2. Well, 3 minus 2 is just, this right here is 1. So now I have 1 plus negative 4. 1 plus negative 4. Okay, well, they're different. There's more negative. The answer is negative 3. Right? There's 3 more negatives than the positive one. By the way, if your writing is very large and messy, you can always just, put a little squiggly line or put a line separating them. Keeps it more organized. Easier for me to tell. Okay, number 4 we have -3 plus 7 and a -6. Now this time notice the -6, it's not -6, but it's and -6. It's the same thing. It's just this makes it much easier for us. But many times they don't do that with problems. All right, so if you want to just go left to right, these two right here. So -3, and they're different signs, right? 7 take away 3 is just 4. 4 positives. And then I have, I'm just going to rewrite this. Okay, now I have 4 and -6. I know the answer is going to be more negative. It's going to be negative. Right? So how many more negatives are there? There's 2. The answer is -2. Okay, our 5th problem. 3 minus -1 minus -6. Now we'll want to rewrite this. So I have 3. Now remember that this works out to the opposite of cold is hot. Take away cold, it's going to make it hot. Or this makes a big plus. Same thing with this one. This makes a big plus. And so now I just have 3 plus 1 plus 6. Okay, well that's pretty simple. 3 plus 1 is 4 plus 6 . Okay, number 6. Number 6 starts off with a -6. Minus -9 minus 4. It says, let's rewrite this so it makes a little more sense. Okay, this is just -6, fine. But remember, this makes a big plus, right? Take away cold, makes it hot. And this, take away 4, is the same thing as adding -4. It's like adding 4 negatives. All right, so let's just do 2 at a time, going left to right. So like these 2 right here, right? These 2 together. Let's see, there's more positive. There's 3 more positive, right? That's +3. So now I have 3 and -4. Hopefully you can see there's more negatives. 4 take away 3 is 1. I subtract it because they're different signs. Number 7 is -2 and -8. See, that's nice because it's already separated for us. And 6. So we can do these 2 first, going left to right. -2 and -8. These 2 together makes -10. 10 negatives. 2 negatives and 8 negatives. And then I have a +6. Okay, you know there's more negative. How many more negatives are there? 4. So if they're different signs, just subtract them. 10 take away 6 is 4. 4 negatives. There's more of that. Excuse me. Okay, I've reached the bottom of my page. You can either turn over your paper if you want to. I'm just going to go back up to the top and write on the right side. I'll just kind of put the little dividers in there. So again, if you don't have much space between your problems and it's kind of, if it's messy, go ahead and put lines between them. If it's messy. Okay, just to remember that all these problems here, we were thinking hot versus cold because it was adding and subtracting. Number 8 is a little bit different. (24) divided by -3. A little bit different rules. So the answer is (3) goes into 24 8 times. And notice that we have one negative sign. The answer is negative. Number 9 is -6 divided by -2. Two goes into 6 3 times. And I have one negative sign, 2 negative signs, 2 negative signs cancel. So the answer is just +3. Remember, if there's, all we do is just divide and count the negatives. One negative is negative, 2 negatives cancel. Number 10 is -6. I'm going to put a dot for times. Times 10 minus -70 divided by 7. Okay, if you notice, there is 3 operations. There's a multiplying, this is subtracting, and this is dividing. And you're saying, well, wait a minute, how do I know that's subtracting and not negative? Well, there, look, this number is negative, so this has to be subtracting. So which ones are we going to do first? Well, remember, in order of operations, you always do multiply or divide before any adding or subtracting. Take care of multiply or divide. So if I do that, excuse me a second. So I'm going to take care of this first. And then I'll take care of the division. Right? And then I can subtract them. So if I do that, I have -6 times 10. 6 times 10. And that's there's one negative, right? There's one negative sign, so it is negative. Because when multiplying and dividing, you count the negative signs. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take care of this one. So 70 divided by 7. 7 goes into 70 10 times. And there's one negative. One negative makes negative. -70. So what I'm doing is I am subtracting that. Right? I have negative 60 minus negative 10. Hey, wait a minute. Didn't we just say before minus, does this make a big plus? So really this is like a big plus. So I will just do this, you know. That's like a big plus. That means it's actually positive 10. You take away 10 negatives, that's adding 10. So what is negative 60 plus 10? I'll just subtract them. 60 take away 10 is 50, and there's more negative. Okay, not to confuse you, but some people wonder, well, what if you would have made this a big plus? What if you would have done that? If you would have made this a big plus, you would have, that's positive 70, and then you have divided by 7. Okay, so 70 divided by 7 is 10. So now you have negative 60, and that's a positive 10. Positive or plus 10, it's the same thing. And look at the answer. It comes out the same. So if you were to make this a big plus, that's okay. It would have came out the same answer. Okay, here's our last problem. We have negative 2 times 4 minus 45 divided by negative 5. All right, as you can tell, there's few operations in there. It's the same. You have a multiplying, you have a subtracting, and you have a dividing. So what we'll do is this one first, minus, and then we have this second. So let's see, we have negative 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. There's one negative sign. When multiplying, you count the negatives. There's one negative. I'm going to leave that there, minus, and then I'm going to take care of this. 5 goes into 45. How many times? 9? And there's one negative sign. Right? I'm multiplying these, dividing these, and there's one negative sign. So that's negative 9. We're back to where we were before. This is like a big plus. Negative 8 plus 9. Notice there's more positive than negative. The answer is positive. 9 take away 8 is 1. All of this came out to be just 1. Very quickly, I just redid the problem again. And notice that if you were to just, so this part's negative 8, but this part, if you're a little confused on it, look, even if I just get rid of this, just forget about it, and look at what I have here. 5 goes into 45 9 times, and if you count the negatives, that's 2 negatives, so it's a positive 9. Okay, look, so you still have negative 8 plus 9. And the answer is just 1. So it's okay if you wanted to count this minus as being a negative. That's all right. You get the same result. So here are those same two problems side by side. You could say minus negative 9, or you could say plus 9. It all comes out the same. So if some of your problems run into each other, you know, just put a little squiggly line or the line just separating them. That way it makes it nice and neat to read for me.